Green hydrogen, a new ally for a zero-carbon future. It holds promise as an alternative, truly clean fuel and in aiding the world's decarbonization goals. Scientists and technocrats have for years been engaged in the quest of discovering alternative fuels to fossil fuels, which are responsible for the production of over 830 million tons per annum of carbon dioxide, in turn catalyzing human-induced global heating. The latest studies by a battery of scientists representing about 195 countries have signaled the crucial issue of climate vulnerability, especially for the Asian countries. The forthcoming 26th UN Climate Change Conference of the Parties, 26 Colombian pesos, in Glasgow from November the 1st to the 12th, 2021 is to re-examine the coordinated action plans to mitigate greenhouse gases and climate adaptation measures. In order to achieve the goal of an alternative source of energy, governments are placing large bets in the hope of adopting a multifaceted practical approach to utilize green hydrogen as a driving source to power our industries and light our homes with the zero emission of carbon dioxide. Energy-rich source. Hydrogen is the most abundant element on the planet, but rarely in its pure form, which is how we need it. It has an energy density almost 3 times that of diesel. This phenomenon makes it a rich source of energy, but the challenge is to compress or liquefy the LH2, liquid hydrogen. It needs to be kept at a stable -253 degrees Celsius, far below the temperature of -163 degrees Celsius at which liquefied natural gas, LNG, is stored, entailing its prior-to-use exorbitant cost. The production techniques of this energy carrier vary depending upon its applications, designated with different colors such as black hydrogen, brown hydrogen, blue hydrogen, green hydrogen, etc. Black hydrogen is produced by use of fossil fuel, whereas pink hydrogen is produced through electrolysis, but using energy from nuclear power sources. Green hydrogen, the emerging novel concept, is a zero-carbon fuel made by electrolysis using renewable power from wind and solar to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. This green hydrogen can be utilized for the generation of power from natural sources, wind or solar systems, and will be a major step forward in achieving the target of net zero emission. Presently, less than 0.1% or say 75 million tons/year of hydrogen capable of generating. The lag between jabs. Kerala HC order on allowing earlier second dose flags need to review 84-day gap. The Kerala High Court's intervention regarding the time lag between the 2 doses of Covishield vaccine is both interesting and unusual. It has asked the government to allow the scheduling of the second dose 4 weeks after the first for those who want it. A single judge has held that the relaxation in the 84-day norm for some categories of people, when it is normally not open to the public to get their second jabs earlier, amounts to discrimination. The direction that CoWIN, the National Vaccination Portal, should allow scheduling of the second dose after 28 days, the period initially fixed, for those who want early protection is likely to be questioned on appeal, even though it has its own logic. The petitioners are 2 companies that have purchased vaccines for their employees and their family members and did not want to wait for the current mandatory 12 to 16-week period to administer their second doses. Pointing out the relaxation from the minimum 12-week rule for some categories among those traveling abroad, the petitioners wanted the same relaxation for employees availing of paid vaccination. The court has countenanced this argument favorably and termed as discriminatory the denial of early protection to those who wanted the second dose after 28 days. The court framed it as an issue over better protection offered by the scientifically validated 12-week gap between 2 doses, and early protection favored by individuals. The union government argued that the relaxation was to meet unavoidable contingencies, and an earlier second dose could not be claimed as a matter of right. The court based its order on what it believed to be discrimination in favor of some sections but refrained from deciding the question whether a person is entitled to make a choice between early protection and better protection while accepting the government's free vaccine. It is fairly obvious that a delayed second dose enables reaching more people for their first dose. This means the order to allow earlier administration of the second dose could impinge on the public health objective of giving some protection to more people rather than full protection to fewer people. To that extent, the court's intervention in a policy matter may invite an appeal. However, it also raises the issue whether the policy of an 84-day gap between doses should continue, given the increased pace of vaccination. Despite being approved by experts, the change from the 4 to 6 weeks norm to the current 12 to 16 weeks may have been dictated as much by higher efficacy as by the extent of vaccine availability then. The time may have come for the government to review the norm and allow a shorter gap based on the availability of vaccines and COVID-19 prevalence in a given geography. The lag between jabs. Kerala HC order on allowing earlier second dose flags need to review 84-day gap. The Kerala High Court's intervention regarding the time lag between the two doses of Covishield